Don't let anybody leave your presence and then put their monkey on your back. Do people put their monkeys on your back? This is about healthy boundaries, and this is something that's taken me years to learn. And I believe that if you have holes in your personal boundaries, you will suffer and you won't know why, to the point of where it holds your entire life back, and you can be mentally sick, emotionally sick, and even develop pathologies, then neurosis and mental illness, and you might not understand why. And there's something... Shh. Stop it. So don't let other people leave your presence or get off the phone with you or leave your office or your site and then put, if they're victim-minded people, then put their monkeys on your back. Because that's what they're trying to do, whether they're aware of it or not. People that when they're in the victim state of psychology, some people have to vent. They build up like a tea kettle, and they have to discharge that energy onto you to get it out of them. And they're not aware. Shh. Stop it. They're not aware that they're selfishly, narcissistically discharging their energy onto you. So it's like a ball of chaos inside of them, and they're discharging it into you in order for them to get their relaxation. It builds up inside of them, and they can't relax until they discharge that negativity onto or into somebody else. So it's a monkey that's on their back, and they want to take that monkey off of that's their monkey.
Give me it. Give me it. I told you to give me it. Give me the... I told ya. I told ya. Give me it. Ready? Whoa, the squeaky. Whoa. I know it's a squeaky. Squeaky. Don't get the squeaky.
Oh my God. So imagine if you had like a hot coal or hot potato and it's burning, so you go up to people and you're like, please take this from me, take this, and then they take it from you, or you guilt trip them into taking it from you, and you're complaining and crying about your hot potato in your hand, and you get it out of your hand and you put it in their hand, and now they're screaming and burning with the hot potato, and you go, ah, God, that was your hot potato. Now I can go about my day. Let me do that again. Here, take the hot potato. I'm suffering. Please take it. What do you mean you're not going to take this hot potato? And they'll find like egoic ways to try to make you take the hot potato, right? And then as soon as you take the hot potato and you're like, they're trying to force it into your hand, right? And if you don't take it, then they'll come from around the back. They'll do all these different things, and then they'll be really, really nice to you, and they'll hide the hot potato, right? And then as soon as you go, oh, boom, they'll slip the hot potato into your hand, and then they'll run away, and they go, here, take the hot potato. As soon as they get rid of it, they go, whew, that was hot. So glad to get rid of that hot potato. And now you're stuck burning and suffering with their hot potato. They're taking their monkey off their back. So anyways, I read an amazing book. It's a business book lately called Traction. It was recommended to my buddy by my buddy DJ Carroll. And they're talking about in business, people will come in your office and they'll try to put their monkey on your back. Do not let them walk out of your office door with their monkey still in your office, because now it becomes your problem. People's problems are their problems. And when you stop taking everybody else's problems on or feeling guilty or responsible for their problems that they're trying to make you responsible for, and I'm talking about even people, your friends, your family especially, or people you love, what happens is you go through these like 3 stages of grief or whatever, the stages of grief, and you'll feel guilty, you'll feel remorse, You can be addicted to it. But once you can fully identify that that's their stuff, and that doesn't mean you love them any less. You still love them. You can still have a conversation with them. You could still have a loving conversation. You can laugh, you can talk and everything. But when you get off that phone or when they get out of your presence, you're not taking their hot potato. You're not taking their monkey. You're not taking responsibility for their problem that they created. And it takes a while to get this because you feel like you're going to die. Until the healthy boundary is installed, you might feel like you're abandoning them. You might have like fear of unlove or fear of abandonment, childhood issues, things that go back, like you're afraid that if you make them feel rejected or you don't do that, and then they have that same reciprocal codependent issue going on, that they might manipulate you to get their egoic hit. See, this is why I'm glowing with this little lava on it. There's actually a huge recall on these that they're setting on fire. This one seems to be fine though. But so like the neuropeptides in your brain, did I make you yawn? The neuropeptides in your brain, they become addicted like to the chemicals of this push-pull mean sweet narcissistic cycle, and the arguments and the fights and these feelings become addictive, right? So, but when you can become fully aware of it for what it is, it'll be like a detox phase, and then you can fully install the boundary. And that person who does that to you, they call you up every day just to complain about their life. They're calling you for nothing more than to complain and cry and moan about their problems and try to dump them all on you. Not that they even want any advice or any help. They just have to discharge all that negative energy out onto somebody, so they're selfishly doing it to you. And the person who takes it the most from the most people is you absorb all that from all these people. Now you got all their weight on your shoulders, all their monkeys on your back, and now you have a breakdown. And misery loves company. So here, now imagine you're on the phone with that person, but you don't let them put their monkey on your back. So, perfectly healthy conversation, and you'll feel them getting upset with you because you're not letting them. You got a boundary. You don't even have to be mean. You could just be very nice and calm and, yeah. But every time they try to put that monkey on your back, they keep trying to do it verbally or with their energy. It doesn't even take any energy. Like, you're not fighting to block it anymore. It's not even, because if you do that, if they feel the resistance, if they feel you're putting up a defensive field, then they'll become offensive and they'll start a fight with you. That's what happens in the next stage of when you realize it and you wake up to this. Then they'll start fights with you if they can't get what they want, and now it'll get your heart racing. And then once they start a fight with you, your healthy boundary, the hole in your personal boundary is open, and then they'll slip the hot potato in there. They'll force it in by starting a fight with you and making your guard goes down, and they'll slip it in. And now this is somebody who supposedly loves you that's doing this to you. And when you grow up with this crap, and you grow up with people like this who do this to you that supposedly love you, you start to realize how insane people are. And you might not even be aware that you might be the negative person that's doing this to other people. So it's really hard to realize that too. So here's one, like, the buck stops with you. If you're experiencing a negative emotion or going through something, and then you're calling up people just to whine and complain to them, be very, very aware that even though you love to talk to them because you can confide in them, be careful of how you do it, because you might be just discharging negative energy into them and leaving them with your monkey on their back. You're trying to get the monkey off your back, right? I've done this to people a lot in the past. I have a friend or two. They always pick up the phone when I call. They talk to me in a very comforting way. They listen to me. And I learned one thing, though. Whenever you give somebody negativity, this dog is constant, 24/7, 365.
Come here, give me it. I told you.
All the bedding's being washed right now. just chilling. So it's almost like you gotta like zip your lips and think before you pick up the phone and do this to people. It's an upward spiral. I'm just gonna end this video, dude. This goes on all day.
Dang it! Don't get it!
So you don't let them do it to you. And every time they try to insert it, you don't block it. You just let it go past. It doesn't even do anything. Because if you're detached, the monkey can't go onto your back. It's just obviously not your problem. And you don't feel bad about it either. And then from there, there's a compass that points true north. You can begin to distinguish when it's happening and when it's not, or when they're trying to do it when they're trying to not, right? And then from that point, they can get all as upset as they want because they're really upset with themselves. They're upset with their own decisions, their own lack of decision, their own lack of responsibility. And the saying that I love is, your lack of planning is not my emergency. Your lack of planning is not my emergency. Your lack of not having whatever it is of working towards having it together, you've had all this time, and now you're going to go put all your monkeys on my back and I have to deal with your emergency. It's like the boy who cried wolf, where it's like, you know, the guy who, there was a flood in the town and he was praying, God, please help me. And then the flood took his house. And people came by with boats and he wouldn't get in the boats and he stayed in his house. And then the flood got higher and now he's up on his roof. God, please help me. And then helicopters came and he's like, no, 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 no. And then the flood he's on the tip of the roof. He's like, God, please help me. And then like one at last emergency boat came by. He's like, no, I don't. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay here. I'm at my house. And then the flood took his whole house, and then he drowned to death, and he went to heaven. And he's like, why did you let me die, God? He's like, every time you called out for... I have a secret YouTube channel just for these dogs. And then he's like, why did you let me die, God? He's like, every time you called out to me, I sent you boats. I sent you helicopters, but you wouldn't listen. What I mean is there's many, many, many warnings that happen to you in life, that there's a lot of grace and a lot of mercy that says you better get your act together, you're going down the wrong path. You know, most of the time, you don't just get blindsided by some horrible things. Sometimes it does happen for people, and my heart goes out to people like that. It has happened to me in my life. I've been blindsided by some really, really bad stuff that took me years and years to fight to get out of it. And I thank my lucky stars every day, you know, and I think that you should too. And so that means if you do have a life, what I mean is you're not special. You're not special. And the moment you realize you're not special, and that, you know, everybody has to work their butt off every single day. Everybody has a million things going on and a ton of priorities. Everybody has a little bit of mental or emotional illness. Everybody has some type of habit or addiction or bad habits or things that they struggle and suffer from, whether it be something as simple as they can't sleep and they're up all night, and they're prone to depression or alcohol or drugs, or I don't know. Everybody's got their cross to bear. And Oprah Winfrey said, the moment you stop wishing things were different anymore, that's when your life gets better. Is when you become present with your life, become present with your pain, you become present with the monkeys that are on your back, and you realize they're your monkeys, and then you accept them fully. You know, even if it's something that you can't change, like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Is a beautiful saying, because now if you've got a problem, that you can learn how to cope and live with that thing and stop trying to hide or run away from it, or do things to compensate for that problem. You can get help, you can get therapy, or you can meditate, or you can deal with that struggle you have yourself, and then develop a deep sense of peace within yourself, and then you can actually have a beautiful life when you get back into your mind-body connection, and you get aligned with spiritual truth, and you can become present with your life. And but first, it's hard. You have to face the brutal reality of where you're at, and you can, like Eckhart Tolle says, be dragged into the kingdom of heaven kicking and screaming. How long will you fight? Do you need more time? More time is what you will get. There is an endless abyss of time. So you can go on for, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation or not, but multiple lifetimes of suffering until you get with the program and stop fighting. And I think that, see, that causes tension, even talking about that right there. You can be misaligned, just slightly out of alignment, just a little bit off alignment spiritually, and it causes all this friction, like a Fibonacci sequence. Like there's a wobble in a disc, and the more faster it goes, the more it wobbles, and so it starts breaking apart. Well, that's the parts of you that are breaking apart, the monkeys on your back. So when you try to grow, I think you have to first accept and embrace those monkeys, or those hot potatoes, those things, your problems, before you can transcend them, right? Because you have transformation, and then you have transcendence. And so you have the spiritual, you have the social, you have the universal, and you have the genetic, and you have the physical, all these different layers of truth. So if you go through evolution and the different lines, level, states, and stages of truth and consciousness, little by little, this thing will start to come together, and then you can evolve. And then you might have a leap where you'll evolve, you'll arc, and you'll crest, and you'll evolve, and then now you go to suffering again, because now you're going to the next breakthrough, breakdown, breakthrough, breakdown, breakthrough. So I think that there's a beautiful Zen saying. This video is a long video. Dick Sutphin. I hope I don't get the algorithm. That's the guy's name. I hope it doesn't pick it up as a bad word. Was telling a Zen story. I'll tell that story in another video. I'm wrapping up this video, my friend. Don't let people put their monkeys on your back. And I think that when you just start to develop that boundary alone, where you can hear no and say no with no residue. You can hear no, and you can say no with no residue. That's when you'll start to develop more peace in your life. There's someone else on YouTube that I looked up a little bit. His name is Leo from actualize.org. This guy's got like 1 million subscribers now. Dude with the bald head. He's amazing. He's got some long videos, but if you sit there and you watch him, I don't have a lot of time to watch him, but once in a while I'll watch him. The guy's just brilliant. There's a lot of levels of life that can be very, very beautiful, where you have a beautiful life and you feel very happy and present with what is. A lot of your fear will drop and dissolve. How would you like that if a lot of your fear just dissolved? Because you got present with your life. That those lower astral energies, and that, that can, a lot of that can go away. Do you live in a friendly or a hostile universe, said Einstein, because you will build the case to attract, or you'll build the case to make that reality true, because you're projecting through this, holographic reality through your consciousness, and then you're living and experiencing what's going on in your consciousness, depending on where you're at spiritually. All right, later, my friend.